How's it going, folks? Antoine here, and welcome to a Patreon video. Now, this is a very special video, and it has to do with the people that support me on Patreon. Anyone can watch this. I'm going to put it up on the channel underneath Antoine Reads, along with my War of the Worlds videos, which Chapter 2 will be the next video I do. So, what is this video about? Let me explain some things first. Now, there is a link to my Patreon down below if you'd like to participate in something like this. I have a few reward tiers. For $1 a month in support, you can join my patron-only hangout. We just had the last one not too long ago, and it was an absolute blast. For $5 a month, you get to attempt to make me go crazy. What I mean by that is at the beginning of each month, I do a very odd reaction video. If you choose to support me for $5 a month, you not only get to suggest one of those videos, you can also suggest an article for me to react to like that as well. Now, for the $10 reward tier, which this is part of it, you get a dramatic reading. Basically what it is you get to give me something to read. A page or two of a book, an article, pages from the telephone book, I don't care. I'll read it in my dramatic fashion, within limits of YouTube, so no explicit sex scenes for those kinky people out there. If you think you can break me, this is a perfect way to try. As for $15 a month, you get to choose from the $5 or $10 tier, and I will send you an autographed magic card. I have a ton of them, and I'm willing to get rid of them. You can choose from a massive collection of common and uncommons. And then finally, for $25 reward tier, I will record a personal voicemail message just for you, and you also get to be included in the patron-only live stream hangout, and you also get to choose from the $10 or $5 reward tiers. And that is a breakdown of my patron rewards. So that's what this is, and it comes from my very first patron, Low Fi. Now, for those of you who don't know, Low Fi happens to have 3 degrees, and she is working on her 4th. Now, she did an article of sorts, and it's actually quite intriguing, believe it or not. It's about ancient Egypt and their demons and ghosts and spirits. She gave me carte blanche on what I want to read, so I can tell you right now, I'm going to butcher most of these names, but I will do my best. So, demons in ancient Egypt, if they did exist to begin with, are beings of superhuman power, and occasionally agents of evil. The main sources for our knowledge of demon kind, specifically the malign kind, in ancient Egypt are from the written records on assortment of papyri and ostraca. Those are types of papers, for those of you who don't know. There is evidence on the existence of these demons, all the way back from the Old Kingdom, in compositions ranging from the pyramid texts, coffin texts, books like the Book of the Dead, and particularly numerous in curses and other magical texts. In later periods, the mentions of demonic entities begin to appear in the letters to the dead, along with iconography on magical items meant for protections. Demonic entities seem to exist all the way up until the end of the Egyptian language, and even then further into history. In the New Kingdom period, as this is the period in focus, multiple compositions and books appear to have originated, ranging from the Litany of Re and all the way to the enigmatic Book of the Netherworld, all of which tells about the different aspects of demons, the groupings of demons, along with the locations and origination of these demonic entities. Not all of these are, however, demonic in origin. Some of these beings appear to be the remnants of undead human beings, who exist in a multitude of different varieties, and some who often have the attributes of other demonic entities. These hosts of the dead come in many shapes and sizes, from the blessed dead or the justified dead to the unjustified dead. There is also the Aku, or transfigured spirits. These anthropomorphic spirits had a base origin in hard-working Egyptians who, quite ironically considering their way of life, failed to become Ak, one of the justified dead. It's spelled AKH. I don't know how else I'm supposed to say that one. Aki? Let's try Aki. One of the justified dead, after they died and end up becoming the Aku instead. While unjustified dead were the common enemy of the gods, and mankind was often sentenced to horrible punishment in the hands of the gods, the justified dead were free to traverse the world and do almost whatever they pleased. This ironically included malicious intent and harm and possession of human beings on earth. I like the justified dead, they're quite interesting. The focus will not be on the hosts of the dead, but rather the more purely demonic entities. However, the host of the dead and the Aku will be mentioned when need be, as certain areas of the ancient Egyptian beliefs mentions these beings in greater detail as almost demonic entities. There are many different types of pure, as in not of human origin, demons, but they are mainly divided into two categories which each contain several subcategories. These main categories are usually referred to as the Wanderer and the Guardian demons. What set these two categories apart is quite literally the amount of distance these beings cover. The Wanderer demons do, as the name implies, wander or travel from place to place to spread their evil and disease wherever they go, while the Guardian demons, on the other hand, are described as stationary beings that have the position as guardians of entrances, objects, locations, and such. As for subcategories, they are more loosely defined, and often the demons can be fitted into multiple categories or even being able to switch categories. Under such categories we can find great ones, demons that, much in the same way as guardian demons, reside in a single location, often hilltops, rivers, lakes, and mountains, and guard their homes viciously. There is an almost monster-like quality over these kinds of demons, as monsters are also defined as creatures that reside over a single area in the world. Then there's the category of demons, which could be sent by the deities to do the deities' bidding. A great example of this is the Seven Arrows. This is a group of minions, for example, Sekhmet, the lion, I said that wrong, I know it, I'm sorry, the lion goddess of war, along with other fierce attributes. These arrows could and would be sent out by the Sekhmet, or in fact many of the other gods, to spread divine justice, fear, and revenge, to name a few, amongst the people on earth, or even amongst the other deities. As these appear to be minor categories, the focus of this part will be on the bigger categories of Wanderer and Guardian demons. The Wanderer demons, or simply wandering demons, are a type of demon that travel from place to place to spread their disease, malign intents, etc. on everyone they come into contact with. These beings often had their own agenda, but could occasionally be sent as agents for other entities or even deities. As mentioned above, a great example would be the Seven Arrows. Sometimes they would act as divine messengers, as mentioned in magical and ritual texts, and sometimes they would turn a village upside down on their own quest for destroying and spreading chaos, like you do. They, much like most entities in ancient Egyptian beliefs, had a very distinct personality and duality, both able to do harm, but occasionally to work for the forces of order. This appears very much similar to the justified dead, who were also able to spread havoc and terror amongst the human populace of Earth. At this point, the justified dead almost take on the shape of a wanderer, and thus seem to almost transform into a demon, if only for a short while. The blessed dead are not the only entities that could take the form of a wanderer demon. Even gods could take the form of a demonic wandering demon, as an example of Thoth and Hathor, who occasionally served as divine messengers of Ra. While it is unknown if the demons were truly subordinates to the divine, it seems unlikely, as being a messenger gives them the authority of the sender. Thus it could very likely be for their own gain too, even if only momentarily, give them the authority of a god. Wanderer demons were usually attributed to diseases, both internally and mentally. This has been discovered as it is written down and mentioned in magico-medical texts. The demons usually do this through the possession of a human, thus wreaking havoc to the host body. These medical texts explain about the different kinds of diseases, how to get that particular demon from the host body. Such an example is found in the Bentrish Stela. This stela tells the story of the daughter of the prince of Bakhtan, who needs the help of physicians and the god of Khonshu the authority to save his daughter who has been struck down with the malady that resides in her body. She was in the condition of one who has a ghost. Possession is, however, not always necessarily a bad thing, much depending on whom the possessor is. It could occasionally be a much looked after and wanted experience, if, say, a deity decided to possess the body. One of the more famous examples of this is iconography that depicts scribes with a baboon perched atop their head or shoulder looking down on their work. These baboons are not pets, but rather personifications of Thoth, the god of scribes, who through this divine interference, which in this case would quite appear like a form of possession, is inspiriting the scribes' writing. Wanderer demons were also the reason behind nightmares, or rather aku, which, much like gods and justified dead, could take the form of wandering demons, and thus spread nightmares amongst the living. As explained above, most experiences of the unexplained seems to be able to be attributed to wanderer demons, be it messages to the things that go bump in the night. It is now quite clear that wanderer demon is a broad term that covers many bases. There is yet another type of demon who is more defined in its purpose, and thus has more singular objective. A type of demon that is less directly bad or evil, yet has the ability to be so on its own terms. A demon of which other entities rarely take the position. Guardian demons, unlike wanderer demons, are a stationary type of demon. That means they are a type of demon set to of who have decided to guard a particular region, place, or object, hence the name guardian. Now, the name guardian is mostly for convenience, as not all guardian demons guard something. Some of them, like the wert demons, also refer to as great ones, are connected to natural places, as mentioned earlier, as lakes and hills, etc. They will attack anyone who ventures too close to this place. Unlike the wanderer demons, guardian demons tend to have more passive-aggressive demeanor, focusing on attacking humans and entities alike if they venture too close to a set point or location. This is quite different from the wanderer demons that invade the space of other humans and entities. They will attack everything and all that gets close, unless the entity or human approaching has secret knowledge of the particular guardian, in which case they can appear benevolent and helpful. In iconography, these demons are depicted quite in detail, as knowledge about the guardian demons themselves is the only way to appease them. The guardian demons are described as anthropomorphic or theopomorphic beings occasionally depicted with mummified bodies, wielding a large variety of weaponry, set and ready for use. This does not account for the wert demons, who are not described or depicted. giving them an almost feral guardian demon who no one wants to mess with and who will keep to itself. The guardian demons are the kind of demons that stand guard at places tied to a location. Thus, a popular example of one of these demons that could be mentioned would be Omut, Devourer of the Dead, who is a theomorphic guardian demon with the head of a crocodile, a leonine body, and the hind legs of a hippopotamus. Omut is just one demon amongst many other guardian demons. It is of no surprise that due to the nature of these demons, they were more than often used as protectors on artifacts and objects, on where the iconography of these beings could help ward off evildoers and wanderer demons alike. In later time periods of ancient Egypt, they became more and more popular as protectors of sacred places and temples. Some even went as far as getting legitimate deity status, such as Beset, the ugly noisemaker, protector of wives and children, and Tutu, god of the Sphinx, which led to them gaining cults and worshippers of these former guardian demons. In other words, there existed a multitude of different demons and categories of demons, yet none of the categories were ever all-encompassing, and entities, be it good or evil, it appears very human-natured of them, and appears as if they live to serve their own need, showing off both the duality of them as individuals and giving them more depth than simple wrecks of havoc or guardians of the sacred, thus giving them both a negative and a positive connotation. Amongst the many demons of ancient Egypt, names of the individual demons were few and far between. We do, however, know about demons who were named, and this knowledge stems from the scribal nature of inking evil names in red. It lends itself to logic that naming a demon means that demon in particular is especially evil or cunning, or having a trait that made it deserve the respect of gaining a name. With names come power, and many of the demons, both from the Wanderer side and the Guardian side, often had frightening names. As Omit had already been mentioned, Omit will not be brought up again, but mention must be granted to Guardian demons such as Bloodsucker and Devourer of the non-existent. Demons like these, the name might be seen as a way of intimidation, but also possibly as a look of what is to come for the entities and humans who face them without knowledge. Of the Wanderer demons, fewer are named, but a particularly frightening individual is not only mentioned by name, but also depicted, which was very rare. The demon Sahagig is one of these demons. He is a chaotically assembled humanoid demon, of whom even the gods are frightened. This shows that the power of the demons are not to be trifled with, as even deities can fear them. We have already talked about the 7 arrows, and shall thus not delve on them, but a particularly important demon from the ancient Egyptian belief must be mentioned, and I use demon in the loosest of terms, as there is a quite mixed opinions on if he is in fact a demon to begin with. This possible demon is named Apophis. Apophis is a great serpent who takes up the entire sky, and has but one goal, to stop the sun carriage from crossing the sky. This makes Apophis the enemy of Ra, thus a demon that the gods must fight on equal terms, and a demon with the power to block out the sun, and possibly end all life. The status of Apophis has been changed, and he is sometimes referred to as a demon, or in a completely other category. This again shows of the interwoven nature in the beliefs of deities and demons in ancient Egypt. To understand just part of the interwoven nature of the deities, demons, and the dead, more research into the world of where they inhabit is needed. Well done, Lo-Fi. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to read the rest of these. This is extremely intriguing. I'm sorry if I butchered the names way too much, but I'm going to do my best to learn about this and talk to her about it more. As for her being a proper villain, knowing about things like these, I think I have to watch my back around her. Anyway, this is not the only thing that's going to happen from the patrons. As I said, we have the patron-only live streams, which are, or hangouts, if you will. And there are others that have ideas of what they want me to read. As I stated before, if you'd like to participate in this, all you have to do is become a patron. The link is down below. I hope you've learned something from this. I know I did. If you liked this, go ahead, hit that like button. Share this around. Let people think you know intellectuals. Or use this for your own knowledge. But that's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to follow me on any of the social medias, all the links are down below. So thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Antoine, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.